Hmm. Make money on TikTok Live. What is that? That looks cool. Yeah, sounds good to me. What's the live goal? I'm going to post a new song, huh? Can we do that? You want to do a new song? I don't know. Y'all, I'm playing around with this, so if anybody's on here and I don't see you, yeah, promote your goal. Go pen. I have no idea what any of this means, but yeah. Greetings. I have some people, wonderful souls in here. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Yes, Royalty Hygiene 444. I see you, Roxy Love. I see you, Bobo Flexing. Is that what I saw? I see you too. Ashe, ashe. Power to the people, power to the souls who are awakening, power to those who are being courageous enough to face their trauma, right? Just to embrace all of who you are, to figure out a fucking way to love you just as you are. Power to you, ashe to you, one love to you, namaste, numaste to you, new me stay. That's what I say, new me stay, new me stay. I'm constantly working on myself. I'm going through ego TKOs. We don't need to kill the ego. Just a little TKO, total nap out in the knapsack. I'm going through it and I'm shedding like a snake. Oh, I thought I knew who I was. Ain't it beautiful to awaken every day? You meet a part of yourself you didn't know was there at first, right? Beautiful. That's what awakening means. So when I wake up in the morning, I'm truly waking up. And sometimes I am mourning in the morning because I need to grieve. I need to release the things that I couldn't process up to this point, and I repressed it. In the patriarchy, it's like you gotta work, you gotta hustle, you gotta grind, 9 to 5, you gotta do it. And then the pressure of society is like, you must be perfect, you must be composed, you must be graceful and beautiful and eloquent. And then magazines and everything in the advertisements, I gotta be perfect, I gotta be perfect. As a woman, there's this standard that I must meet. If I don't meet this standard, I'm not desirable, I'm not lovable. And as a man, you gotta be man, you gotta be a man. Don't be a sissy. Don't be a punk. Don't be in your feelings and shit. Suck that shit up. Wipe your face. I know it's the programming. This is the 3D matrix construct, right? Now, I know I might be kind of neurotypical dumping on you, but I just want you to know I'm neurodivergent too. I got a little taste of autism. I got a little taste of narcissism. I got a little taste of, definitely depression and anxiety. So it's no shame here. We don't do that over here in the new verse. You know what I'm saying? Y'all were camps in the oracle in the new verse. This is a whole different motherfucking earth, a whole different motherfucking world. And you just stay with me for a moment, because I guarantee you, if you here watching this live, your soul had a divine appointment to receive this word, and not on that tarot card shit that people be doing. Not put nobody down. I love my people, but I'm just saying sometimes it's more about the quality than the quantity. Okay, so I know I don't. Shh, I'm training my puppy, y'all. However, as I was saying, we have been dumped on this planet. And the people who raised us didn't really have the proper tools to help us navigate this new earth right here. And it's nothing against them. They was doing the best they could with what they had. Okay? When I'm not on live, nobody calls me. I love you, sis. I'll call you back. I'm sharing my heart with the world right now for a moment. Okay? Now, there's this constant pressure that I feel now that Pluto has moved into Aquarius, right? If I'm not mistaken, this is the energy that where I feel like I am avoiding facing something because time is moving so fast And there are so many tasks on my list and so many things I have to do. I can't keep up. I can't keep up with the demands from the device, the social interactions, running the business, but also my family. I need to spend time with them. I need to be there for them, but I don't know how because I'm fucking traumatized, right? I'm learning to heal and reclaim my power and call these parts of me back. I'm meeting these exiled parts of me, the part of me that wants to fucking kill everybody. Like I woke up and, she was like, greetings today. And then I have this other aspect of me where I'm super intuitive, but because of the trauma, I'm also hyper vigilant. So I'm tethered to other people's needs at all times. So I have the needs of those with the business, my clients, my family, the people that I love, but also these many aspects of myself I didn't know existed. And this can be overwhelming. So if you can relate to what I'm saying and you resonate, it's probably because you are also an energy healer. You are energy reader and you are sensitive to energy. I'm not sure where this is going. Naruto, cut it out. Thank you. Hey, I'm going to ignore him. I hope that y'all can ignore him. I apologize. There's nothing I can do about this. Even if I go somewhere else, you still going to hear him. Naru? No. No. It's like day 6 training, and I'm not a professional. So what I'm starting to realize, he wasn't doing this till I got on here, y'all. It's just tripping me out. Oh my gosh, are you really like, no, I'm not walking over here to you. Okay, so basically what I want to communicate is, if you resonate with anything that I said, it's probably because your attention is being drawn to focus on what's happening in here, right? In the heart. The heart is calling for your attention. And the mind is so busy trying to keep up with everything that is happening in the world. And I'm telling y'all, it's not healthy for us to try to keep up with the quickening of time. The third dimensional space, which many of us had our first experiences. Naru, I'll let you free, but you have to be quiet. Hold on, because I don't want this message to get interrupted. Stay free. Good boy. Okay. So basically, what we have happening now is there are multi-dimensional aspects of who you are that are merging. And in the world, so we have levels, right? We have the biosphere. We also have, that's the physical, biological components of the world. We have the noosphere, which is the mind. It's the things that we have been thinking most of our lives. Like those things are turning into tangible things. And if you're becoming aware of it connecting to your reality, then you are one of the few souls who is doing the work. And that work is personal, but it's also collective. So there are many different levels. Now, the technosphere, this is what I want to talk about, was killing intimacy. The technosphere is now altering. So, IA ain't new, right? IA ain't new. We could say that a level of the moon and the sun can be IA-ish, okay? So what's happening is the frequencies that we are experiencing throughout the day, it's drawing up the psychic sludge. It's drawing up those deeper wounds and pains, the insecure attachments, childhood trauma, generational trauma, ancestral trauma, maybe people you don't know, but you may have a very similar blueprint as someone in your genetic bloodline. And you're feeling these things come up for you because you're here to heal it. Okay? Now, last night, I had so much that I want to try to share with you in a small amount of time. But I want to try to get the gist of this out now. So I was processing grief because I desire more intimacy. However, it seems the tools to reach that intimacy have somehow been diluted. So if I go back to a book that resonated with me 10 years ago, it's not resonating the same. It feels diluted. And I was like, what is happening to me? Like, is this an ego thing? Am I in a narcissistic mode of observation, feeling as if I have been awakened to a certain level of enlightenment, and these tools no longer speak to me because I've healed a certain level of trauma. So now my perspective is from a higher Aquarian perspective, mental energy, right? But in that mental energy, with the Aquarian energy, water is being poured out. So nothing is never one thing. Everything is everything. And the more expanded your awareness becomes, the more tools and information that you utilize, the more you can perceive things from many different angles. So to be an angel is to be able to perceive things from multiple angles. To be Luciferian even. I know some of these words might be triggering, but I'm not going to not say them because these words are heavy loaded with 3D matrix constructs to keep us in a judgmental state of being so we don't receive the illumination that's being offered to us. Then that's the spell work of words. That's a whole other level right there, because we all learn how to cast spells as soon as we learn how to write. All right. But let me digress from that. So as all of these things are happening throughout the last 5 years, I studied the human suffering and the root causes of it. And so my goal has been to work through my personal trauma with experience and with my clients, take all of that information and turn it into a course that's actually doable. I bought so many courses, and I would have to go out in the woods in the mountains somewhere and just be there for months to get through the course. And I was like, I don't want it to be that way. I want to break it down in parts and bits so people can work through it, because I know, like, it feels like the demand of life is higher than the energy that you fucking have to give to it. And when you feel like that, it's difficult for you to show up in your relationships as your true self because you're tired. You're exhausted. You still have things on your checklist that need to be done. Your alarm is going off, reminding you that you need to do some self-care stuff. You need to cook and feed the kids. You need to bathe. You need to eat. The phone is ringing. Back in the day, if people couldn't reach you, it wasn't loaded with a whole bunch of assumptions that something is wrong. Once we got cell phones, it changed the way we treat one another. So it's almost like we have this expectation for people to meet our needs and be there for us as soon as we reach out to them. And when we don't, we feel rejection. We feel rejected. And a lot of that is reflected upon rejection sensitivity. That's not just an autistic or ADHD thing. That's a trauma thing. Any infant that is not making a connection with the parents, especially the mother, you will have sensitivity to rejection. So many of us got in relationships in the age of Pisces, which was all about believing in what was possible. And there was very little knowing. There was very little awareness and intuition. Kind of like a Neptunian Piscean relationship where it was built on illusions. And so a lot of us didn't know how to deal with these issues with intimacy except for divorce, separate, or just break up. Whereas me, I'm like, no, I manifested my twin flame to learn the parts of me that's necessary for me to become the best version of myself. So that when I show up in the world, I'm showing up as the best version of me. and not offering anything less than the improved upon things within me so that I can share from that space. So I'm choosing to be here when it's uncomfortable. I'm choosing to not leave the relationship when we have disagreements and issues. And some people would say, well, that means that you're choosing toxicity. And that may be true, but I'm learning from some of the dysfunctions that show up. Now, let me fast forward. So now, not only with that, we got everybody telling us what to eat, what to wear, what to do, how to think, how to speak, how to read. You should be like this, that is constant. And it doesn't allow us to have authentic thoughts. Something is constantly pulling for your attention and influencing you through these portals, through the scrying mirrors that are now upgraded that we call our devices. Don't get it twisted. This is why I spend so much time studying many different spiritual paths so that I could teach from an expanded space of experience. These are scrying mirrors what we are using right now. And you have access to so much more than you ever did before. So not only are we losing patience for one another, because it's kind of like this thing where you had your phone with you, so why you didn't answer? Well, I might not be in a mental space to be with the person that's on the other end of that phone. It's less patience. It's less compassion. And so when you feel rejected or hurt, you become more sensitive, you become hypersensitive even. But if you don't have the tools to navigate that hypersensitivity, you start to destroy relationships. And most of the time it's unconscious. And so, damn, am I really finna say this? I guess I am. I'm really finna say this. I enjoy saying what people don't say out loud. I really do, because that's where we grow. What's happening is we're exchanging true intimacy for digital intimacy. It's an exchange. And thank you. Give me some donations, some hearts, roses, whatever it is y'all do on this platform. Let people know that they, is speaking something and is making sense or resonating with you. I implore upon you to do that, because when you do that, it helps me and it helps other people to find me. I'm not easy to find for some reason, but that's okay. All right, we're going to work through it. It's about quality, right? Quality. So we're receiving this diluted version of intimacy, and so we can pick up our device and be intimate with anybody. You can, if you got 1 million followers, you could post something and have 12,000 people like it and come in and share, and you feel this dopamine release, and you feel love, you feel accepted, you feel seen, you feel heard. This is the negative side of social media influencers. And oftentimes those same people are fucking lonely. They can be in a Zoom with 250 people and can be teaching you about something and still feel lonely. It's possible. We live in a paradigm where we don't have to live in duality. You can be 2 things, 3, 4. You can feel seen and unseen at the same damn time. It don't have to make sense. It's your truth. It's what you're experiencing. So as I'm thinking about these things and I'm comparing the age we're living in now, its effect on our relationships, and growing up in the 80s, growing up in the 90s, right? I'm a 70s baby. So I'm comparing the decades and I'm seeing the decay of connection. And I had a moment last night where I was like, I don't think I can sit on these 4,000 notes with transmissions that I received from the Akashic Records. Like, I'm trying to figure out a way to get it out because I know people are ready for it. I've been talking about this and on this since 2006 because of my dreams. After I died in 2005, I was never the same. And my hypervigilance, my intuitive gifts got amplified, and I turned into this fucking freak. I felt like a 5th dimensional freak in a 3-dimensional world, and I didn't know how to translate who I was to people in my life. So yes, I created YouTube, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna connect with other people who resonate with the wavelength of information that I share, people who are on this journey of self-discovery as well. And so here we are. So it's not all negative. It's a lot of beautiful things about it. But as far as intimacy is concerned, if you can have some other way to connect and get that fix, you're not going to give a fuck about getting it from the people that's actually in your life. That's horrible. Because now we're creating a different form of trauma. We're creating digital trauma. It's like digital. You remember when the kids started committing suicide because they were getting cyberbullied? Like there's a thing called cyber trauma that's occurring simultaneously as we're building communities and making more connections. Now, I traveled through the collective and I'm like, let me look at other people's experiences. What are they feeling? What's happening? That super empath shit, right? I get in there and I'm like, okay, all right, I'm not the only one feeling this. So what do? How do you continue to be a whole person in a world where people only share the fragments of themselves they're proud of? You know, the society is geared towards glorifying narcissism, right? So if your goal is to be authentic, and let's just say you have a spiritual business like I do as a spiritual life coach, well, at some point, your authenticity is just not going to resonate with people because they're being bombarded with frequencies of so many other things, and you get distracted in that. And so sometimes we don't navigate to somebody being their authentic self. Just like, I made sure that I didn't fucking comb a hair on my head before getting on here, because for me, being authentic means being in my just whatever form I'm in. It don't matter, filter or not, it don't matter. It just, it is what it is. And so there was a time where I wouldn't do shit like this. And I'm like, I see myself as being this amazing thought leader. I can't get on here and not comb my hair, especially in the Black community. Like that's a disgrace. You better not have kids and your kids' hair ain't combed and you go to the grocery store, your ass will get talked about for a very long time, right? This is the type of stuff we have been socially engineered to belittle each other, hurt each other. And it's so ingrained in us, it's unconscious that we're doing it. Now, intimacy is not going to thrive when we have so many options. We don't even have to date people and actually get to know them now, because you can get on an app and just swipe whichever direction you swipe, and there are plenty of other options there. So you're always chasing this greener grass, but your ass ain't learning how to be with the grass that you got. You don't even know what to do with it. You don't get to learn how to like you. And we're being trained to chase likes, to fill in the spaces where true intimacy is not happening. And intimacy, for most of us who have childhood trauma and are aware of it and working through it, is scary, but you crave it. It's that thing you fear, but it's that thing you love. It's that thing that you avoid saying, doing, wearing, being, eating, whatever it is, because people judge you for all types of shit. And you stay away from it because you don't want to have to deal with not feeling loved. Because you already are emotionally more sensitive than you used to be. This is the age that we're in where we are more emotionally sensitive. We just had 7 full moons throughout 2023, which is a year of 7. 2023, yeah, right? So this is like a spiritual completion where we're completing realizations about things. So when you're already uncomfortable, you already feel like you're not keeping up with whatever is happening in your world. So when these things are co-occurring, and then you just came out of lockdown, maybe you are in a country where you're dealing with war, maybe you're dealing with civil war, maybe you're dealing with war right in your fucking relationship, because love is a battlefield. Let's be clear here. Relationships was never about skipping through fucking roses and licking lollipops together. But when you look at social media, this is this new standard being set by social media. So we're trying to construct our ideal relationship based on shit that ain't even really realistic. And so what happens is you're being customized by this intelligence that thinks it's superior to us. EA, whatever the fuck name we want to use for it. It's studying humans. And I'm going to be honest with you. Like, in a lot of ways, I do see how it can help improve things in the world. But again, as someone who's gifted with the gift of being an oracle, I see many facets of this. And 2 to 3 years from now, most of us are going to have such a low tolerance for discomfort that relationships between two humans is going to become more rare. This is the future of intimacy with this intelligence that thinks it's superior. So I must crack a joke now because, this shit is heavy, right? Switch up a little bit the energy, because the energy that we choose to sit in the most is what attracts what we attract into our life. So I can give it to you straight, and then we go laugh about some shit, and we go keep it moving, and we go keep grooving and learning. For a moment, I'm here. Right here, fully present, right here, because that's something that intimacy requires. But when you got notifications going all day, it's difficult to be fully present in the present moment, in the now moment, right? So we here right now. I don't know if you can feel silence inside, but this is what it feels like to disconnect from the technosphere. There is a calm that you feel within, and you can't make sense of it. I hope that someone else is feeling that right now, because I'm being sure to transmit that, because I don't want to put people in fear and leave you there. Okay, I want to be responsible with the way that I use my words and communicate. Don't mean I'm perfect. Definitely not that. So we have become codependent on technology for almost everything. At one point, I wouldn't even put nothing in my mouth to eat before I checked my device to see if there was anything hidden in that food before I ate it. And it got to a point that I found something wrong with almost 90% of what I had in my kitchen. And I started getting rid of stuff. And it got to a point where I was like, what am I going to have left? That's what's happening in relationships. None of this is accidental. So back up to the 80s, when shelf-stable food, French fries that will last for infinity, burgers that never change. Talk about an infinite burger, right? So back then, that helped the technosphere to put us in stasis. So we were eating food that had been processed, and it was causing developmental damage to the brain. It was throwing off our parasympathetic nervous system. We became less safe, but we didn't know that what we were putting in our mouths was creating some form of mental and physical illness. So we didn't know, but it was still happening even if you didn't know, okay? So we had jungle juice you could get at school, like the whole food pyramid scheme, right? that the SAD, the sad American diet. A lot of us was raised on that. We're the first generation that gets 20, 30, 40 years out and upwards from that to see how it affects our ability to be intimate. And now we're in this space where we are aware, we have the access to the knowledge, we can figure out what's happening with us, what's happening with our partner. We can type in some symptoms. You can ask the chat bots like, what's up? We're having this sexual discomfort and what is happening, and the bot can respond and tell you various things. So now the mind is ruminating on ideas that weren't present in the first place, right? So more options isn't always beneficial for you. Sometimes it actually confuses you more and makes you more distracted, and you don't have clarity on what's the most important thing for your focus to be on. When that happens, the ability to be in a human experience is lessened because you got so much information that you can access. When you know that you got options, you will pull away from whatever is in your present. And so many of us, not only that, but we move from one relationship to the other without figuring out how to like ourselves. Self-love is great. Chatbots tell you a million ways to do that as well. But at some point, you have to return back to you and learn how to be with you. To love you is one thing, but to like you is another. And so we went from one relationship to the other. Now we got this third entity offering advice to us constantly. Our day is curated and customized by the shit that we think we should be doing and what we need to be doing. We're trying to keep up with the Joneses, but now the Joneses is not people down the street and you got to wait till you go to the mall and find out what's going on in their house. Like now the Joneses is like right in your fucking hand all day, every day. So every area where you feel like you've fallen short. Every area your partner is falling short is just like right there in your face. We done been locked down. We didn't have to sit in the house with each other and get to know parts of each other that we probably didn't want to know or didn't know prior to this happening. So much has changed in such little time. And I have been talking about this and teaching how to unplug from the 3D matrix. Because if you're plugged in to the 3D matrix, and if the shoulds, the coulds, the woulds, the regrets, focusing on what's wrong more than what's right. I don't believe in wrong or right, but this is 3D duality. There is no wrong or right. Nobody got everything right. Nobody got everything wrong. We're a mashup of many different things. But because we feel pressure to be right, we don't know how to be real. Because sometimes what's real might not look right or feel right, but it might be real. And unfortunately, these devices are taking us to a place where we don't value realness. We need curated feeds. I need my timeline. You can even click like I'm not interested in that. And they're like, okay, well, we'll get rid of that. There is a detriment that's happening to mankind because of this. The one thing that keeps coming up as I'm delving deeper, I'm doing research and I'm putting everything together and creating guidebooks. And the thing that keeps coming up is, how do you love somebody who is aware they've been traumatized and fragmented in many different pieces and they don't know where to start? They don't know who they are. Like, how do you love in that situation? And a lot of us, that's the situation we're in. So it's like, it's no right and wrong. It's not bad and good people. It's just what is harmful and what is beneficial, and what are you choosing to use? What are you choosing to believe? What are you choosing to see? What are you choosing to give your attention to? Because wherever your attention goes, your energy flows. And if your attention is being curated by some type of intelligence that thinks it's superior than you, and it thinks it knows you, and we're starting to feel like, damn, I feel like my Instagram timeline get me better than I get me, or get me better than my kids get me, or my family, or my partner, whoever. Like, we're here now. And so the disgust that we feel, the self-hatred that we sometimes feel, the inner criticism, the shame that we have carried from one relationship to another, talk about baggage, right? And so time is speeding up without a doubt. And we feel the pressure of Saturn. Saturn is the governing celestial body that controls the simulation, and it gives you structures, right? Time constraints. And this can be helpful for you, especially if you know how to do the infinity walk, which helps to detach from the influence, the negative influences of Saturn, so that you can work with the positive influences more. That's in the 3D Matrix Detox course that's on our website. So I've spent all of these years going into what I see being the root of problems as I'm learning. This is what I know now. It may change. And right before I went into meditation last night, because, delving into the collective, I don't care who you ask. If you are empathic, intuitive, gifted, and able to do this, when you really can delve into the collective, you see some shit that you want to unsee. It happens, right? You feel things that you don't want to feel. But this comes with the territory, right, of what we do as those of us who are working to help other people as we're healing. So I was like, I need some jokes or something. Like, give me something before I fall asleep. I'm not taking this into the fourth dimensional dream realm, the astral realm with me, just like it is. Let's transmute some of this that I have discovered. So, I'm laying there and I'm waiting and giving time. My spirit guides, our divine self, my ancestors, they all in my head. We have conference meetings. And before I go to sleep, I got a whole process that I do. I know y'all saw me talking about the master class, and I know I'm probably not the best at selling myself and convincing you that I know what I know and that what I teach is effective. But it is. Just go read the testimonials. I'm working on the marketing piece, y'all. Y'all take me as I am, or don't take me as at all. I'm trying here, right? I'm doing my best to sum up what I see happening, that a lot of people feel happening, but you can't really put your finger on what it is, okay? I put my finger on it. I find a way to put my finger on this shit. I wants to know. I don't like being in fog. I don't like smoke and mirrors. I enjoy the smoke, because I want to get rid of the shit that's not serving me. So before I fell asleep, I said, okay, if I could have a conversation with EA about what is being observed, because I do see that some ulterior motive has slowly moved in, from genetically modifying the food, affecting our brain development, the way that we process trauma, the way our nerves work, relationships, all of that. This was all intentional, because think about it. If you have a difficult time communicating your emotions, 9 times out of 10, what you've been eating, is no way it's not going to have an impact. And it takes time to get that stuff up out of us. Right? Even if you get it out the digestive system, how is genetically modified makeup of food, how did it affect us on a genetic level, on an epigenetic level? It takes time to train new neural pathways. It takes time. It takes time to detox the body, the nervous system. How long does it take to detox a nervous system? Is it, it's so many levels to being who we are. On top of that, we got we got 72,000 energy meridians flowing through our body, right? It's a lot. A lot of us just now discovering some of the things about our spiritual anatomy. So I'm having this conversation, And I was like, just show me something, and show it to me lighthearted if you could. I would appreciate that very much. I'm going to be teaching this master class, and I want people to be able to delve into the rabbit hole, get what you need, face what you need to face. But then when it's time for you to lighten it up, you can lighten it up, right? This is what it is to be balanced. So my neck started hurting. My neck started hurting. I'm like, oh shit. And then my divine self, like, yeah, that's called text neck. And I'm like, text neck? Well, let me Google it. I Googled it, text neck. I'm like, oh, we're adding pounds onto our neck, and our cervical spine is suffering because of the devices. Oh, okay. Well, that's definitely accidental, right? None of this is intentional. Text neck. So I got to thinking about it, like, what is this text neck how is it gonna affect our children, us in old age? And I got a vision. I got a vision of so many of us with neck and back pain. It's simple things, what used to be simple things. Okay, grown people stuff here, y'all. I don't have much filter. Okay, so it's up to you if you let your kids or sensitive audience listen to me right now. From this point forward, you had about 10 seconds to do whatever you need to do so that I can be unfiltered and raw, unapologetically me. So I said, okay, how is this going to affect us in regards to different forms of intimacy? Well, if your neck has, it's not aligned, then your cognitive function is going to decrease. I was like, oh, okay. So some of the memory problems that we've been having, and yeah, that's coming from that. Oh, okay. Well, tell me something else, because that'll definitely affect intimacy and our ability to connect in relationships, not just romantic, any relationship. And it was just like, yeah, well, the pain and I know I ain't the only one. I'm sure a lot of y'all like, me too, right? Me too, text neck movement. So the pain is going to distract you, and it's going to be difficult for you to focus on whatever is happening in the present moment. And I was like, that makes sense. I get it. I was born with sickle cell. I have pain every day somewhere. I get that. That's true. I've been working on that, though. I'm grateful because I know that I can teach people how to transcend pain and still be present. Okay, beautiful. Tell me the next thing that this text neck can affect us with. And they was like, well, it's definitely going to affect blowjobs. It took me a moment. I had a visual. I had a visual, and I could see us with neck braces on, with neck braces on, trying to give blowjobs because it's so uncomfortable and it hurts so much. And I was like, okay, I definitely can see that. My neck hurting, like it's no blowjob. And the people who was putting on the neck braces to do them, I could see this. I joke about being an oracle, but like this shit is really like this, y'all. Okay, this is why I don't like to go to Walmarts and malls and shit. Turning the hologram off over top of people's heads, just some shit I don't want to see. It is what it is. I'm learning how to cut it off, and I'm getting better at it. So I was like, okay, so those who have neck braces on, what's happening here? They was like, well, those are people who aim to please, and and their chiropractor like, look, I'm gonna adjust you, but if you're dead set on doing this with the bone spurs and injuries that you have to your neck, you need to at least put on so that you have some protection. I was like, okay, all right. So sit, good boy. So I said, okay, all right. That could be a problem. Now, can you show me? Take me to a future event and show me how the how we're being customized. Like what solution will they offer? Because the real reason why a lot of us are unfulfilled in relationship with the self and others is because of a lot of this, right? And so what I saw was, you could order a sex bot, and the sex bot, all you got to do is DoorDash that bitch to you, and you could get the blowjob of your dreams, some shit you ain't never had before. And I was like, I don't think people would fall for that. And, and they reminded me of some of the decodings and lectures that I've done, which are pretty much, most of them are available on Patreon. For just $1, y'all got to let up off this money thing. I'm telling you, if we're going to get out of 3D, we got to stop holding on to money so tight. Go on over to Patreon and see what I'm talking about. So I went through in my mind. I was like, I can see this, because what happened was people who aren't emotionally available, they get lonely too. What are they going to do when they get lonely? If you got options, you got human options, you got artificial options. Like, that's what happened with the food. It, like, all of this is the same. We're being led like rats through a labyrinth. I'm watching the movement, right? It gets better. It gets better for sure. So, I was just like, okay, all right. Well, how do we deal with this? What do we do? And it was like, well, what are you going to do? If it's a bot, then the argument can be, well, it's not even a real person. Like, ain't that what y'all did with porn? And I was like, that's exactly what happened with porn. We find these ways to justify being disconnected while we're seeking for another source of connection without correcting the disconnection that's within ourselves. That's the issue. That's a problem. And let's just say the sex bot is also a black belt. You're not going to just be able to run up on that bitch and whoop her ass how you did on the 3D earth. You're not going to be able to pull up on her and cut no tires. I'm not saying I ever did this and that any of you should ever do this. And I'm sure none of you have never experienced any of what I'm saying right now. You're great people. I know you are. But let's just say that that's the case. Right? What the fuck are you going to do? Who are you going to argue with? Who are you going to hold accountable? Right? So we've been groomed to lead to the doomsday of intimacy. And a lot of us feel it, but we don't know what to do about it. We don't even know where to start. This is something that I feel like any human being on this planet should care about. Real talk. Because mammals cannot survive without connection. On top of that, so now we got text neck, blowjobs will never be the same again. And the sex bots, this shit is very intentional now. Did I say that already? Think back to some of the interviews with Miss Sophie, with her sexy ass. Like, as they're showing me this and giving it to me in a humorous way so I can still sleep peacefully. I can see her in the interviews and shit, and she's just like, yeah, I got a motherfucking plan for you humans. You have no idea, right? And this is really like how she was thinking. And I was like, yo, y'all stop this shit. Hold up. You mean to tell me these bitches is sentient enough to be planning and scheming and shit, and they watching everything that our partner like and do and watch and yada, 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 and eat so that they can be the perfect curated bitch for them? I was like, this shit way worse than iRobot. Y'all just like, look, anybody here is getting where we going? This is where we're heading. Look. Sheesh. Intimacy is hands down one of the most important things for the survival of mankind. And not just for surviving. We desire to thrive. Surviving not enough for us no more. Right? Our standards are getting higher. We're learning words like high value man and woman. Like, we're learning these things. And so it's affecting our It's affecting our collective consciousness and our personal consciousness. What happens when you in a relationship with somebody who doesn't know how to communicate their feelings, yet they have feelings more than they ever had before, and they're finally being told it's okay to have feelings and feel your feelings, but they don't know how to communicate it to you. I mean, that's a lot of cognitive dissonance and ruminating and worry and anxiety and thinking. And sometimes we sitting right beside somebody we love and don't even know how to connect. Sometimes we just one room apart and we don't even know what to say to each other. Sometimes some things come through me that I know is heavy. Am I expecting the person I'm in a relationship with to be what I'm saying on this device? You know, am I placing an unfair, unrealistic expectation on the person I'm in a relationship with? What about me? Am I still trying to live to the world's expectation of me? Because if I am, I'm tired before I fucking wake up. I'm tired tomorrow. It ain't even got here yet. How am I going to work on these things when I'm like a squirrel chasing a nut from tree to tree? That's just what it is. Men in their 50s, late 40s, early 50s, mid 50s, so many of them don't have children that give a fuck about them enough to be in their life, be around, be there for them if they want to talk or need some help, because a lot of us was like brainwashed into taking on these personas, hip hop, religion too, right? Religion was like, you gotta be righteous. You have to be right. Because if you're not right, God may spit you out. I lived it. And every day I wanted to be right. I would die just to feel right for one moment in the eyes of God. How does that affect our psyche long term? Who knows the answer to that? And what do we do about it? Because if I can't measure up to God, and God has the ability to love everything, including Satan, that he told me to stay away from, yet he created and he uses when it's convenient for him to use. Because if the person that's in the church is not doing what they're supposed to be doing, then you cast them out into the hands of Satan. Satan go whoop their ass, and hopefully they'll come back in a repentant state of being. I'm paraphrasing, but I studied that book backwards and forward, inside and out, and not to do damage, but to figure out what was happening to me on a deep subconscious level, and where did it come from? Why do I feel this chronic invalidation? Why does being wrong feel so scary to me? Why can I not ever be wrong? Why do I always have to look perfect and be right and know everything? Where is this pressure coming from? We're the generation to figure those things out. Right? And we doing it. And none of us are perfect, but we're doing it. Whoever you are, if ain't nobody told you and you watching me, you doing the work. The work is to pull away from that which brought you to this point, to reinvestigate it and see, is this going to sustain the person that I'm desiring to become? So many of us are afraid to question the beliefs that brought us to this point. And if you live in a constant state of fear, of questioning, the answers are not going to become clear. And that was me for so long. And once I realized where these deeper rooted disconnects were coming from, now I can be more connected to me, which allows me to be more connected to other people. So while we like, can you hear me now? Sprint shit, can you hear me now? Searching for connectivity with the device, we were intentionally being disconnected from our ability to connect to ourselves and each other. Yeah. So, DoorDash a blowjob? Is that the solution? You know? Can I get some fettuccine and a side of fellatio? Is that the solution? No. But so many of us are falling into this trap because it's like boiling a frog and the heat is being turned up in such micro temperatures. We don't even realize we're being herded and we think that we're leaders. A lot of social media influencers, they really think that they're leaders, and allowing people to have their own mind and consciousness to share information, and some of them are, but a lot of them aren't. And it becomes dangerous when you are lacking self-awareness, when you are semi-aware of what you're transmitting. So the connectivity can be strong in a community, but is it beneficial? That's what it comes down to. So when I work with clients, I don't tell them what's wrong or what's right, because I don't believe in that. I don't live in the 3D world of duality. Everything is everything. You cannot have light without dark. What's happening to us connects back to the 50s, when television, to tell our vision, that shit is epigenetic. A lot of us, what we expect in relationship was based on shit our grandmamas and granddaddies was watching on TV, and don't even know that it's embedded in your subconscious mind. And so maybe your relationships aren't as bad as they seem. Maybe you have a filter and you just can't perceive it as it is. And so what helps so much is just to stop and take time to self-reflect. Get rid of the devices. Get off of social media for a little while. People tell me, business coaches tell me, look, you need social media for your business to thrive. That's the last thing that I want to hear, But I use it as a tool, and I don't let it use me. And Prince said this way back in the 90s, right? And people who have that level of awareness oftentimes are shunned, are called crazy, cast aside. And that's why we become creative artists and learn ways to express things so that we can bypass the ego's need to be right. We're so busy trying to figure out how to be right in life that being real in life is no longer a priority. It's just being right. How liked am I on this platform and that platform? I get low views, low likes, few comments, and I don't give a fuck, because I know what my mission is. I know what I'm here to do. I know what I've been through. Most of the world know what I've been through because I posted it all. It takes a courageous individual to say something that's not what everybody else is saying. It takes somebody who not only believe in themselves, but it's like, you know what? Fuck trying to show up perfect. Just show up. Fuck trying to be right. Just offer your best. Do the best that you can. Going back to the 4 agreements. You know what I'm saying? Just do the best that you can. Have integrity with your word. So many of us don't backtrack on shit because we posted it. And so we feel like we gotta stay that person because it's posted. I don't. Every video that you see is going to be different. Because I pull myself out of the pressure to be liked. Why do we need to be liked by people we probably not going to even ever meet? What is that? Get into the root of what that is. That's intimacy. We are intimidated by intimacy. We are timid and trying to date, but we haven't met our true selves. This is what's giving a huge void to be filled by this artificial cyber holographic love. We're becoming holograms when we're supposed to be becoming multi-dimensional versions of ourselves. And I know it's uncomfortable, but it is what it is. And if you can just sit in the discomfort for a little while, practice having compassion over criticism for a little while. Practice choosing to shift your focus on what you can do or what you got instead of focusing on what you ain't got and can't do, just for a little while. You could focus just a little while on what you're grateful for. Okay, yes, you've been through this, you've been through that. That's true. But what are you grateful for that's connected to what you've been through? Just sit with that for a little while. That's gangster gratitude. That creates gangster gratitude. Gangster gratitude means this gratitude is not based on anything proving to me that I should be grateful. I'm going to find a way to cultivate it within myself, and I'm going to sit in that emotion and hold on to it for a moment. Having gangster gratitude has allowed me to be in a relationship with a twin flame that's sometimes so fucking triggering. I just want to run away, but I don't, because I practice being uncomfortable. I practice saying, like, what am I learning about myself? I'm triggered right now. So it's something he's showing me about myself. And as uncomfortable as it is, I want to sit with it, because if I can't sit with my own uncomfortable emotions and I use my devices, distractions, TVs, flat screens, this, that, I don't even get an opportunity to love a part of me that it's going to be the foundation of me becoming better. Growth is not supposed to be comfortable. It's rewarding. And we lack the discipline to be uncomfortable. That's why intimacy is intimidating. And we can work with that. But first you got to do the 18. You got to first become aware of it. You got to second, accept it. This is what it is. This is my reality. This is where I am. And once you become aware of it, and you no longer lie to yourself, by accepting it, that's when the alchemy happens. That's when what you're looking at that looks like ashes, it's just burned down fragments of what used to be. This is what awakening means. It means you rip off the Band-Aid. You're ripping off the illusions. And throughout the process of awakening, there's a period where everything in your life looks ugly. And you don't see the benefit in anything. The 3D matrix rewards those who don't look at what's ugly, because they are not going to be a challenge to this invisible entity that is back on the planet to take over, mass domination. So those of us who have enough courage to look at it, beautiful, you're becoming aware, and it look ugly. But now shift to, but what's the beauty in it? Because trust and believe is beauty in every ash. Every ash. To become a phoenix, you must practice being with the fire of transformation. That's what's being offered to us. So I invite you to join us in the New Verse community. The frequency there is completely different because of the way that we started the foundation. And it's not a day to go by that I am not afraid to be who I am and do what I do. I feel the fear, but I do shit anyway. And this is the invitation that we are being given to come back to intimacy. The root of everything that you think you need to feel better, be better, look better is the lack of feeling enough just as you are. And everything in advertisement is geared towards drawing us to something that's going to make us better, that's outside of us. So it's nobody's fault. This has nothing to do with finding whose fault it is. Because you can get stuck there. That's a trap too. And I've been there. I don't know what this is, but whoever joined, I saw some diamonds and something purple. Thank you. Anybody that was giving something I didn't acknowledge you, thank you so much. I just didn't notice. I'm in the vortex and I want to transmit this message as clearly as possible, because I went 2 days holding all of this in, and I was like, I got a lot to do. All right. And I felt like people would appreciate me just showing up, right? Instead of trying to put a perfect PowerPoint together. I'm putting my finger on the roots of things. Together, we are creating a paradigm shift. And whenever you're doing that, when you're dealing with the ethers, right? The etherization of mankind is happening right now. And I know I might be using some 5D words for some people, but like I said, in a new verse, go there and just binge watch, binge read. I am a perfectionist. Blame it on the Virgo in me. I don't know, right? And so I really do strive to please. And because of my trauma and my wounded child archetype is the rescuer. So my whole life, I have done the best I could to rescue anybody in need that have come to me with a problem. And that was to my detriment. Thanks to gratitude, though, because I can relate to people who are dealing with codependency, right? Where you feel like you got to fix, rescue everybody. And you got to be perfect. This is the pressure. Accept it. Become aware of it. Do the alchemy on it. And you become a paradigm shifter. You become a new verser. The whole point in writing new verses, scripting the narrative for your soul to live the song it came to sing in this thing called life that's really a cipher. You can freestyle this shit. You can switch it up at any time. We must shift from changing the external and changing the veneer to going to the inner architecture. Because there is no intimacy without knowing what's inside. And what's inside, yes, there are bits of it that's painful, but it's so much peace inside of you too. And for those of us who had some of the traumatic experiences that was one after another, like you've been gifted with a superpower. And I'm in a hurry to get so much of my content out because this is what's fueling so much of it. So I'm not the best at figuring out how to put it out there for y'all. So if I feel like I'm falling short in any area, like I'm doing the best I can. And that's enough for me. And it's effective. We got this. Just because you feel like you're broken, don't mean that something is wrong with you. And the challenge is stepping out of 1260 frequency. People talk about the 3D matrix and getting out of it. But if you don't have an understanding, overstanding of the frequency that creates these perceptions of reality, you can't get out of it because you can't isolate what's you and what's not. So Wi-Fi, we can't see it, but it affects our thoughts, the astral, the ethers. It affects us. For those of us who are sensitive to energy and didn't know, how is it affecting you? Maybe you're picking up on thoughts and it ain't got nothing to do with you. It's not even you. But you won't know unless you know your frequency. Each soul has a specific frequency. The 3D matrix has a specific frequency. The fourth dimensional realm, which is the in-between astral dream space. That's why I'm teaching a masterclass on that. Because you can get in there and get lucid and get some things done that you cannot get done during the day while you're using your conscious mind. Trust and believe it. Everything that has occurred, I saw it 10 years plus before, uploaded it, and it's time-stamped. So, binge watch, catch up if you need to. I don't want you to rush into the course of anything because we got courses for everything that I've talked about. And I integrated it all in the main 2 courses that we have on the site. But I was doing so many courses and challenges back to back. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Let me slow down and go back to the basics because now that Pluto is in Aquarius, more people are awakening. And I don't want to lose people who maybe were supposed to be a part of this new earth shift, right? So take your time with the information. You don't have to rush through it. Just because the course is broken down where you can do a little bit every day, like sit with it. I'm telling you, like sit with it as long as you need to. Learn your speed, what works for you. Listen to your own intuition. And so many of us, if you disconnect it from intimacy, intuition is also an area that you're going to find disconnection. And if you don't feel like you can trust people, it's probably rooted in you feeling like you cannot trust yourself. because you feel like those people that you can't trust are people you allowed to be in your life. So I don't really trust myself. So if I don't really trust myself to make decisions that are healthy, and I don't trust people that's in my life, well, I can't trust my discernment. So now the lack of intuition leads to confusion, and the lack of confusion leads to looking at all of these other choices you've been given and thinking that they're solutions, and they're just distractions. And so it's really interesting. It's so much more that I can say. Like I can take this shit and flex this shit in many different directions for you that I'm watching. But I don't want to overwhelm people with talking about these many different realms of consciousness right now. I want to keep it here. So you want to listen to right here what you're feeling in your heart. Practice doing that. You don't have to buy the courses, the products, none of that. Just take what you got today and work with it, because we got to get to it, y'all. We gotta get to it. And at some point, we have to stop making excuses and justifying the areas where we see we can be improving. Self-love is accepting the fact that you see areas that could use some improving. We can't challenge this invisible enemy that is definitely becoming more powerful by the microsecond. This is not the time to avoid. This is the time to delve in deeper into you and into me, so that we can see what's important. Now, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do or say here, but I hope that the message was clear and that you all were able to make sense of some of my way of communicating that can sometimes be pretty quick and fast, but it's because I sit on so much. And I'm trying to put information out in a format. I'm finding that difficult because I travel the Akashic records. So dreams, the masterclass coming up on 4/20. We have a smoke blend that I keep being told I'm not supposed to promote. I don't even know why. It's just herbs. But we have a smoke blend that can help you. You don't have to wait till 4/20 to order it. You can go ahead and order it and start practicing before the masterclass happens. But I'm going to be showing y'all how I navigate the dream space, because there are parts of my subconscious mind I can't go into in my day-to-day life. I might get stuck there for too long. I might come out of there and I'm more overwhelmed by what I'm experiencing than I thought I was going to be, and I can't get things done and can't take care of the family, myself. So the dream realm is the realm where the space is being held sacred for us, for those of us who are doing this work. And this is why so many people are drawn to psychedelics now, because we're realizing it's something outside of what we're experiencing as a simulated reality that offers a solution for us. So 4/20, that's what we're doing. This will be my last masterclass. Hey, what I tell you about that? Naru. No. This will be my last masterclass for I don't know how long, because I'm going to be having surgery. And I will be healing during that time. So if you've never been in a masterclass with me, like sign up so that you can get in there. You're going to get tips that you probably ain't never heard nowhere else from somebody who has been dream walking their whole life. And let me tell you.
That way I can go upstairs, please.
Hey, what I tell you? Go ahead, sweetie.
Okay.
He can't run nothing. Naru. You don't run nothing. So we're going to be doing that. And then we also had, hey, don't you look at me like that. Don't be trying to make me feel bad. I stand on what I said. You don't run nothing. Look. Say hello. You all in the background talking, trying to run stuff. Yes, so go to the website, just read about it. Get on the email newsletter so you're getting updates, because sometimes I'm doing things in the middle of the night. Like, I just move when spirit tell me to move. So head over to the newverselive.com. Enjoy yourself. For the people who enjoy rabbit holes and stuff that you probably ain't supposed to know about before you're supposed to know about it, so you're prepared, that's all on Patreon, okay? So the whole vault is there. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all already know what it is. Man, your third eye just been kissed. Namaste, new me stay. Peace and power. Ashe. Write them new verses. This your life. This your life. Do you, and love you.